Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox. So far we've talked about Xbox and Xbox 360 launch titles, which it's been fun to see how those consoles started. But we did skip over one important aspect of the 360, the Xbox Live Arcade. Though the original Xbox had Xbox Live Arcade, the 360 really started a change in the industry with digital games. It was a platform for small digital games that really brought digital gaming to the masses. So let's talk about all the Xbox Live Arcade games that launched with the Xbox 360 on November 22nd, 2005. And it had to be on that day. We're not talking about anything that came out after, so sorry Smash TV, you missed this video by 2 days. All footage was captured off of an Xbox 360, and I want to thank my YouTube channel members for their support, and let's go ahead and hop into this one. First up is Bankshot Billiards 2. This one was developed by Pixel Storm. This is the sequel to a billiards game that was on PC, as well as the original Xbox Live Arcade. This one in particular is sentimental to me because I had it, and for a long time, I worked through the achievements in this game. I also think this is where my love for billiards games began. There's something about the sport that makes it addictive, especially in this top-down format. This XBLA game is simple. You look down at the table and you move your cue around. There's a guide telling you where you're going to shoot, and you simply adjust things like power, spin, or angle. You mix all of this to sync balls in the various game modes that this throws at you. It feels excellent on the Xbox 360 controller, and it's easy to pick up, play, and understand. Exactly what the Xbox Live Arcade was made for. Short experiences that can be played between your bigger games. Bankshot Billiards comes with a lot of options overall. For one, there's a nice amount of customization for the felt, table, cues, and balls. Not only that, but there is a nice selection of songs from a mix of genres, though my personal favorite is the lounge music, which is nice and laid back. Yet the biggest element here is the number of game modes. You get classic 8 and 9 ball modes, but with that comes time trials and trick shots, all of which are fun and have a ton of content. You get golf asking you to hit balls in the holes, but there's these giant red sections blocking your way. There are other small games like 3-ball and a whole mix more. There is such a great amount of content here, and I think it's all fun. What was great for the time too was that this game offered online multiplayer so you could play it with others online, but also locally. It's one thing to compete against a computer, but when it's a real person, that's where the real fun in this game starts to kick in. Throw on leaderboards, and you have a substantial XBLA game. A simple game, but packed with a ton to do to keep things easygoing and addictive. This is an awesome Xbox Live Arcade launch title, and it is backwards compatible on modern Xbox consoles. Next up is Bejeweled 2. This one came to us from the awesome PopCap Games. This is a match 3 puzzle game series and a sequel to the huge PC gaming hit at the time that also saw an original Xbox Live Arcade release. PopCap truly blew the lid off of casual gaming in this era, and it was a sight to behold, making simple, easy-to-run games that in their simplicity were extremely addictive. There was a period where the whole family in my house just had these games installed on the family computer, and we played the crap out of them. Bejeweled was one of those games. Casual gaming was a perfect fit for the Xbox Live Arcade because it allowed for simple games that didn't need a full release and let you easily install them for quick play. Bejeweled 2 is a match 3 puzzle game. You get a field of jewels and you can move them in one direction. Your goal is to match 3 or more of the same thing, which makes more jewels fall down and your points get higher, and you keep doing this till you get no more moves. It's as simple as hitting A and moving in a direction and you are golden. It's easy puzzle gaming, but it's really easy to get sucked into. Bejeweled is one of those games that has stood the test of time because it lets you forget. You whittle away the hours just matching jewels around. It's easy to lose track of time. It's truly something special. Mix in the amazing electronic music and you have something that comes together very well. You do get multiple game modes. You get an endless mode that just lets you play forever, classic, which has you matching till you can't anymore, and time mode for the more hardcore, which has you matching against the timer, which is probably the best game mode here because it offers quite a bit of challenge, especially when you get deep into the game. They do add in a puzzle mode to fill up some more time, yet overall I wouldn't say there's a lot of variety in game modes like its later sequel Bejeweled 3, but it doesn't need it. Bejeweled is simply fun on its own, and it's an Xbox Live Arcade staple, and this one is also backwards compatible.
Excellent. Level complete.
Next up is Gauntlet. This is a port of the arcade classic from Midway. This is a nice segue from two chill and classic games into another early reason for Xbox Live Arcade, and that was ports of classic arcade titles easily playable on your Xbox 360. This one was on the original Xbox Live Arcade and was ported over here as well. This is the classic Gauntlet game, but you can choose between two graphics modes, one where it's enhanced and a bit more cartoony, or the classic graphics, which looks older but also feels true to the original experience. I'm also glad they kept the classic digitized voices and didn't change that at all. I love hearing the narrator scold people who accidentally shoot food while playing the game. This is a game where you have a crew of heroes, each following classical fantasy archetypes. You have a warrior, an elf, a wizard, and a Valkyrie. All of them have different styles of shots, but it is simple. You move through mazes and shoot at enemies as they flow at you. A quarter gets you more life, and you can get that just by hitting Y. The idea is that enemies swarm you constantly, so you're always losing health, and you have to re-up or find food. Enemies have to be stopped by shooting out their spawn points, or you can find potions to wipe them all out. It's a simple move and shoot game with a bit of puzzling trying to get through the mazes. This game is heavily focused on being multiplayer though. You can play with up to 4 people in this game, all with different classes, and that makes this game go much easier. This is not a single player game at all, and this game gets relentless the further you go along, and it can be brutal. With at least one other, the hordes become a lot more manageable. What's nice here is that this game has Xbox Live support, so this one is playable online, though this one is no longer available to buy anymore, so you will be playing with a limited playing field of people. I personally am not a huge fan of Gauntlet, but it is a game I appreciate. I just find other arcade games of the time to be a bit more entertaining, but then again, in a multiplayer setting, this game can be fun. I know plenty of people that adore this game, so I'm sure there was a lot of people out there that just had to get this with their 360 at launch. Throw in the online leaderboards too, and you have a winning arcade classic on your Xbox 360. Next up is Geometry Wars Retro Evolved. This came from the great Bizarre Creations, and this game started as a mini-game all the way back in 2003. It was just an arcade cabinet in your garage for the game Project Gotham Racing 2. It was a fun experiment, but there are many people out there who actually spent more time on this twin-stick shooter in that game than the racing. So the next logical step was to get this game released standalone, and that's exactly what they did for the Xbox 360. Geometry Wars is a simple twin-stick shooter. You move around in an area, and you shoot at whatever direction you point in. Think of asteroids mixed with Robotron. Except here, the simple idea is baked into the look of the game too. With a name like Geometry Wars, all you get here is a bunch of simple shapes. Squares, diamonds, and circles all fly at you. Yet the shapes all have attributes, from the green square that'll dodge all of your shots, to the circles that suck in everything. This game asks you to learn each of their movesets and plan accordingly because it will throw everything at you. That simplicity, much like other games today, is why this one holds up as one of my favorite Xbox Live Arcade titles that I've ever played. The gameplay is down so tight and it goes by so fast that it remains entertaining, and I cannot stop playing this one once I start it. Chasing after high scores over and over, it's one of those amazing experiences. I love the look of it all, with the evolved mode giving a lot of bright flair. There are huge explosions and lights going off, and with the fun song in the background, it makes for a trippy game that I always love and get entranced by. The game does also include a retro mode as well, which is close to the version from Project Gotham Racing 2. It's much simpler and feels like a classic arcade title you could have played in the 80s. It's not as good as Evolved, but it's still fun and once again easy to pop into and play. It makes for a really great package overall, and one that over 20 years later holds up and is easy for so many to get back into. This one is also backwards compatible, and I have a full review of this game on my channel if you want to check that out after this video. Next up is Hexic HD. Hexic first came to PC in 2003 and was created by the Tetris creator himself. It was then ported over to the Xbox 360, but what's fun about this one is that it was a pack-in game. If you bought the Xbox 360 with a 20GB hard drive, then you got Hexic HD pre-installed onto the console, though later on it was offered for free on the Microsoft Store. Yet this game already being installed on the Xbox 360 was many people's first game on the console and was a lot of people's very first achievement. Hexic HD is a puzzle game that gives you a board full of hexagons. Your goal is to rotate them either clockwise or counterclockwise in order to match 3 or more. Similar to a match 3 game, but here you're moving the shapes in threes, making you think a bit more. On top of that, there are special moves such as the sunflower, which has you surrounding one color with a bunch of the same one, and in doing so, you create a new shape which will give you more points. This adds more to the gameplay and is about setting up more than just flying through as many matches as fast as you possibly can. Much like the other puzzle games today, Hexic HD is a chill and relaxing game that you can easily get sucked into. Playing this game for this video, I remembered liking this one, but I remembered it not being anything special. Yet now I was getting into it and I really loved my experience with it. The rotating patterns and getting chains of matches is very entrancing and led to an amazing experience that kept getting more and more entertaining as the game went on. Getting more and more tense, like in game modes that are timed when the clock is getting low, or Marathon where bombs come in and you have to clear the bombs before they explode. On top of that, you have Survival, which just sees how long you can last, but that is about it for game modes. On top of that, you have a simplistic graphical style and you have an ambient score that's honestly a little scary, but also relaxing. It ebbs into the background and perfectly gets you into the puzzle mood, and it isn't an annoying backing loop. Hexic HD was a great start for many that were just getting into their Xbox 360, and it's backwards compatible today. We have another Midway arcade game next with Joust. Originally released in 1982, similar to Gauntlet, this game uses co-op multiplayer. I think that, along with just being a popular game, made this obvious for Xbox Live Arcade. One of the biggest hooks for many of the games today is that they had some type of online component, albeit games you can play together, or at the very least they had leaderboards, and that is what you get here with Joust. Yet not only that, you just get a great game that's easy to throw on anytime. Much like Gauntlet, you get two different styles of visuals. You get a classic look just like the arcade, or a new enhanced look. Both work well, and I even don't mind the new cartoony look, but that classic pixel art style is always charming. In this game, you play a knight on a bird. You tap A to flap and you move. The idea is that you attack other knights on birds and you have to hit them from above. Whoever has the highest lance wins, and your goal is to knock out the competition. Joust is brilliant arcade design in every way. It controls so oddly, but once you get the physics down, you're into the tense action. Dodging other birds and lining up perfect shots, it's an absolute blast and a game that is endlessly fun. Though I will say that this game is the least amount of content out of every game today. Other than online and local co-op, you only get the one arcade mode, and it's just a single screen type game. You don't get much else, but in my opinion, you don't need much else. This game is good enough simply on its own. It's fast, arcadey, and addicting, and you can die so quick, and it truly manages to hit that sweet spot of wanting to get right back into its game loop. Yet games like these were normally put into big compilations in the console generation before this, and here they're spread out and you have to buy them individually. So the question starts to creep in, does this feel a bit greedy or not? Should they have just released a compilation, or is it okay that they split all these Xbox Live Arcade games up? That was a question for back then, but I will say if you're a huge fan of just Joust, you're going to have a blast with this one. And not only that, this game is backwards compatible today. Following that, we have Mutant Storm Reloaded. This one came from Pom Pom Games. It was originally a PC game and made its way to the original Xbox Live Arcade, like so many others today, but this release is considered a reloaded version, updating the look of the game and adding in achievements. I had heard about this game for a while and had seen it in the store for ages, but I've never played it. So this was my first time around, and this one is quite a good time. This is another twin-stick shooter, much like Geometry Wars, but where that is a simple high score run, Mutant Storm is level based and has you moving from level to level, wiping out enemies before the timer runs out or before you die. Each level is crafted in different ways, maybe changing the layout or changing the amount of different monsters that are packed in. All of these levels are very quick, and it helps keep this game strong with progression. Overall, I had a blast with this game like so many others today, and I just have a soft spot for twin stick shooters, and this one is lovingly designed. The controls are perfect with movement feeling smooth, and it's so fast when you're moving from level to level. That's just the main adventure mode. There is a mode mode that lets you tackle each level individually and at the game's many different difficulty levels. One cool thing about this game is that it has a ton of difficulties that show up as belts. As you progressively get better at the game, the belt level goes up, making the game harder and harder. For 2005, this progressive style of difficulty was fairly novel and it adds replay value. Out of all the games today, this is one of the top ones in terms of content. With over 80 levels to go through, there is a substantial amount to do. The simplistic game design only helps that. Also, I love how the graphics are not perfect. They have a funky look to them, but it adds to this gross aesthetic this game has, especially with all of the weird monsters that show up and the wide mix of power-ups for your weapons. This is one that is well worth getting and is another today that is backwards compatible. Next up is Outpost Kaloki X. This was originally released on the PC in 2004, but was added to the XBLA at launch with more scenarios, levels, and an added campaign. Ninja B was a developer that was one of the biggest proponents for XBLA back in the day. Games like Dash of Destruction, Band of Bugs, Cloning Clyde, and the Kefling games. Out of those, I feel this one gets forgotten about, but is quite a fun game. Outpost Kaloki has you managing various space stations where you build them up. Each station has expansion ports, and you have a mix of shops. You want to make shops that people are demanding in order to make money. The more money you have, the more you can upgrade and unlock new stuff to build. It's all about building up capital so you can spend it in order to make more capital. It is a management sim through and through, but simplistic enough for an Xbox Live Arcade game. It's all about getting the most money by the end of the short levels. So it's less focused on things like stats and more about trying to make fast money to get gold medals. I am personally a sucker for management games, so this one has always spoken to me. It's chill just going through and upgrading things and seeing the numbers stack up. The graphics are cute and simplistic, and I love the jazzy backing soundtrack. The controls are very simple too and not overly convoluted. It's a bit basic overall, which I know won't be for everyone, but this one stands out as different. Most of these launch titles are simple arcade games or basic puzzle games. This one stands out for having a light plot to follow, a different gameplay style, and a unique look. To me, this is a standout early XBLA game because of that. If you like a good management sim, this one is also backwards compatible to try out on newer Xbox consoles. The final Xbox Live Arcade game available at launch was Zuma, another PopCap game that first released on PC, but it was re-released over and over again, which meant it had to make its way to the Xbox Live Arcade. This was a household staple for me growing up. Well, mainly my mother, who loved Zuma. It had to be her favorite game on the family PC, and the sounds and music have been ingrained in me. So to say I'm a little nostalgic for this one would be an understatement. Zuma is another testament to the quality casual games that PopCap was churning out in the mid-2000s. In this game, you play a little frog in the middle of the screen. You shoot out colored balls to match a line of balls coming in. Your goal is to score enough to stop the balls before they reach the end, which means a game over. It's a simple arcade puzzle action game, and there is such a great flow to it. When you combo everything together, it feels great. You do this by hitting certain colors so the gap closes back because both ends have matching colors on either end. The clashing noises and the loud chimes make it such a blast of an experience. It's particularly the sounds of this game that get me here, with the great tribal-like soundtrack in the background. It's such a fun soundscape, and I feel PopCap always excelled at making sound effects that really popped and made you want to play more. I'm also always surprised how much they get out of such a simple concept. The mazes that are developed in this game and how they crisscross all with each other is inventive and leads to some great level design. Zuma is one of those unassuming games, simple in look and gameplay, but like Bejeweled, some games don't need an extreme amount of pizzazz to be fun. Sometimes you need something to just keep your mind on a simple goal, and not thinking about so much allows you to focus on the world the game has created. Games like these are some of my favorite to play on the Xbox, and luckily, like most games today, it is backwards compatible on modern Xbox consoles. So that is it for every Xbox Live Arcade launch title. I think early XBLA games are very interesting. As time went on, the service started to get more fleshed out. Here we get some great puzzle games like Zuma and Bejeweled, to fun casual experiences like Bankshot Billiards, and classic arcade releases like Joust. Not only that, but all-time Xbox Live Arcade staples like Geometry Wars. These games felt like a great way to start a digital ecosystem. Small games that could be downloaded for under 100 megabytes, and you could have them installed for a rainy day. There's something about the simplicity of this launch compared to some huge experiences as indie games started to boom for the Xbox Live Arcade. It's nostalgic and fun to look back on. And what was your favorite game from today? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Also, be sure to leave a like as it really helps me out in the algorithm. Subscribe to keep up with more videos like this, and check out my second channel, Camp Extras, for more gaming videos. And I want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube channel members. Thank you so much for your support. You really help out the channel, and I'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.